Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Thinkers channel, where we discuss issues trending around the world, issues affecting everyday life, and just any topic that comes to mind. My name is Keen Shuluade, and I have here with my brothers.
Abdel Bello,
And the other guy is
Indiakosa.
cool,
Indiakosa.
cool, 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 cool. So we're just some Nigerian brothers. Well, this guy's from Benin, but he's still a Nigerian brother, and
yeah,
we're
no,
here.
hold on. I have to
No,
say that. Oh,
Can you let me finish speaking? Can you let
no,
me
no,
finish?
no, no,
Can
no,
you
no.
let
You
me
don't
finish
know, tell
speaking?
me. You,
Can you-
you know what? I won't say anything.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
Hey, you didn't go like this, so go ahead.
So I have here my brothers,
Hold on,
my
hold on,
African
hold on, hold on,
brothers.
hold on, hold on. Did you see him? He said, I'm not Nigerian. I'm not. My parents, my great parents were born in Nigeria. They migrated to the Republic. Now you just want to disown me entirely. Oh, you get kicked from Nigeria.
We're not disowning you. Okay, my Nigerian Benin brother.
You already lost. I'm done.
My Nigerian Benin brother Abdel Bello, and we have here Idi Akosa Igbenobaro.
I
So
don't
today
have.
we want to continue talking about NSARS and the journey so far, how the protest has been going on, and the government's response and different reactions. So, and if you have any thoughts so far, what are your thoughts with the protest so far? Abdel, go ahead.
So I think this protest has been successful. Uh, to end SARS, and some of the requests have been met.
Idi Akosa, could you mute for a minute?
I already muted. I just muted.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
me, I believe the protest has been successful so far. I know the protesters do not feel like that, so I can't really say. I understand where they're coming from. Um, the government has responded to the request. They dissolve SARS. They created SWAT. Now they need to dissolve SWAT as well, but that's a different topic for now. Basically, they also created a committee to review um, the issue, the complaint about SARS, which I think is a good step forward. Hopefully, we'll be able to determine who those determine if the complaints were valid, and then take appropriate step. Another thing is one thing that I think is missing on my side is um, anybody that was in the SARS that have had complaining against them should at this point um, either fired or put on administrative leave, where they will not be in the force or in anything related to the police force as of now. Idiakusa, what do you think?
um, yeah, I think so far the response from the government has been mixed. You know, it's like they will step. It's like they will take one step forward and then take two steps backwards.
10 steps backwards, but keep going.
I'm sorry.
I said 10 steps backwards, but keep going.
This is not so. No, I don't agree with Kim what Kim just said right now. But Idiakusa, please continue.
Okay. I think the name change is kind of is is something like like the name change is like as if we're like kids. It's like saying it's like changing uh, uh math to like mathematics, or like changing math to like calculus or algebra, like, you know. I mean,
It's
so
like, oh, we won't call it algebra again. We'll call it trigonometry.
I think that alone is kind of insulting. I think it shows that maybe the people in the government or the people in the office don't really know, like they don't really know what they're doing, or they don't really understand what this protest is all about. I mean, I just think they're just incapable of meeting this moment, and that's why a response of changing SARS to SWAS was very laughable. So I just think that that was very weak, and as you can see, the people rejected that. Like, as soon as they said let's switch to SWAS, there were more protests. People got more angry. They're like really? Are we kids now?
It
Like
was like it
now?
was like adding
Right, right.
salt to the wounds.
Hold
It
on.
just shows that those people in Buhari government know what they're doing. Like, do they know what's going on? Do they think it's just
Hold on. So, see, with every critic, we have to have an answer, right? So, I have a question for both of you. Since you guys do not think changing, well, technically, they didn't just change the name. Hold on.
Idiot.
Technically, they didn't just change the name. They dissolved SARS and created a new police force, which is SWAT. Now, since you guys do not agree with that, what do you think would have been the best way? Keen first, Keen first. What do you think would have been
Well,
the best way? Hold on,
let,
Keen first.
let's before I say what the best way probably would be, I'm not in a position to say. I think that the people, or we, the people as a whole, need to decide what the best way should be, or the government should have had a conversation or a dialogue with the protesters or significant members of the protesters, or what would you say? What did they say? The aggrieved party or significant people from civil society organizations or that are organizing the protests to come to an agreement on what the best way would have been. Um, just changing SARS to SWAT, it's like the name was not the problem. It seemed like it's like taking a hashtag literally. Sometimes in some cases maybe you need to take the hashtag literally, but this one they just took the hashtag literally. Like, okay, end SARS. Okay, they want SARS ended. End it now. Okay, we'll end it and we'll disband them. But yeah, what will we call it now? Let's call it SWAT.
So
You
hold
know,
on, you did not. I
wait,
don't. My
wait,
question.
wait. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Also, so just ending the name does not change the mentality. Ending the name does not end brutality. So that's why you now see end police brutality. People add end police brutality. Now people add end oppression or end every form of oppression. And now you can see the list is even growing. People are even saying end Buhari. Some people are saying end. People are saying end everything. People are saying, so how you see Sorosoke Gonison, people are saying Sorosoke and all kinds of stuff. So I think really it goes beyond just ending the name, because ending the name is not gonna, because even when they ended SARS, protesters are still being killed. And even yesterday I heard 2 protesters were killed in Osun State.
So
So
hold
people are
on. That's a total different story. You said, what do you think, Jakarta? If the government, so I'm thinking, what you said, the government should have talked to the protesters before doing anything. My question to you, Jakarta, is, what do you think the government should have done?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
What I'm saying, what is it that the government should have done?
Okay, before I answer that question,
Yes, yes.
you know, I'm just saying, like, I mean, is this same government that says the election was free and fair? So I'm not really surprised that they decided to
Don't bring
switch
that up.
from.
Don't do that.
I'm not really surprised that
No,
they
no, no, no,
decided to
no.
switch from SARS to SWAT. You could just see maybe this government are not really up there. I mean, if they believe the election was free and fair, so I could understand why
You are bringing
they
a
would
different
think
topic again.
why they would think changing the name was something significant. But back to your question though, like like what do I think the government should do? Very simple. Like King said, my brother, they should at least talk to the protesters, call them, talk to them, go in the streets, meet them. Let me hear your demands. Let me hear your cry, your issues. Talk to them, communicate with them, give them a sitting table instead of threatening them and saying protesters are not allowed in this building. Don't bring anarchy into this. Like they're just making things worse. Like talk to them, and then like we said, like I don't care about names, SARS, whatever. I care about the actual change. They are trying reform. And the main thing is making police accountable for their actions. You know, I mean, that's the main thing. Making police accountable for their actions, oversight. If police are out there bribing, stopping people just ask for money, making sure those policemen are fired or punished. So, and I think that's where we should be going. I mean, I hope and I believe eventually the government will get there, but so far their response have been disappointing because it's like I don't think they understand because I don't think the people who run the government are not just that smart.
Oh, got fired. Did you hear that?
No, just give your response. Just give your
Yeah.
response. Go ahead and say what you have to say. This the guy. Me, I don't
Ah,
think to say anything.
that
Rest.
was too loud. That was too good. No,
Yeah, cause I'm mute. Okay, you're
but
muted.
no, I don't agree. Me personally, I don't know. So I cannot really say. You guys already
You
said
muted
it.
yourself again. Okay, go ahead, Abdel.
So I was saying that you guys already say how you feel. I understand that uh, the government response right now is not satisfying. I don't disagree with that statement. I understand that police accountability is the most important. And if you hear what I was saying earlier, one thing that's missing on my side is having either firing or putting those people who have been accused of anything outside of the police force until those cases has been reviewed, investigated, and be decided on. And once that is done, we can take appropriate steps. I don't necessarily think I don't necessarily agree that they just changed the name, and that is a bad thing necessarily. If they changed the name and actually took appropriate steps to make sure those police officers are accountable, to me, I think that would be a good response for the NSARS. Now, when it comes to police brutality in general, it should. So I want to speak before we go to police brutality. Well, talking about police brutality, Femi Kuti, you posted a video of Femi Kuti in our group earlier.
It was Sheon Kuti.
Sheun Kuti, sorry. And he was saying that he doesn't that Nigerian has already ended police brutality. And his reasoning was if Nigerians see a police officer mistreating someone, they'll literally just join in and beat the shit out of the police officer themselves. Correct? That was basically that's what he was saying. Right?
He said that, and he also said that we shouldn't be. He said the average Nigerian, he said one of the protest demands should not be. Um, he said one of the protest demands should not be asking for an increase in the salaries or the compensations for police officers, because he made the point that police officers are grown men and or grown women or grown individuals or grown
No, no,
adults.
no, but no. Before that, he talked about specifically about
Wait,
police
now
brutality.
you go let person finish.
Okay, fine.
Let person finish. Adele, look, yeah, so
No, you can make
as,
it.
so he made the point that they're adults, and if any of us, even I work for a company. If I work for a company, I'm not satisfied with what wages I'm getting, I should either quit or I should demand or strike, or go on strike with my coworkers or so if we can team up together. But if they don't refuse to team up together, I should just quit. I think that point was kind of valid because it's like we're being oppressed by police officers who are serving the government, but we are trying to cure. I mean, in a sense, some people are trying to say, okay, because police officers are being paid, are not being paid a fair wage, that is why they are oppressing the people. But I think it's noble to ask for an increase in police officers' wages. But if the police officer himself cannot demand those wages, the police officers they're not toddlers. So if they themselves do not know what's best for them, they should go and fight the people that hire them, or they should quit. They shouldn't serve if they feel like the wages are not enough for them. It shouldn't be an excuse. It's like it's almost just like blaming. It's kind of blaming the rape victim here. We are saying the reason why we're
Uh-uh, uh-uh.
we're saying the reason.
I don't agree with that one.
Let me, Abdel, let me make my point and don't interrupt people. Let everybody finish their point. So, so it's like blaming the victim here. It's like saying the reason we are being victimized is because the police officers themselves are victims. It's true, but just because they are victims doesn't mean they get to victimize other people. They should go and fight their own battles, or they should join us in this battle. If the police officers are now out there, which some I think I've heard reports of some encouraging protesters and so, but if the police officers all drop their weapons and come out and say, yes, we are being underpaid and they are joining us, then we can fight the battle with them. But we shouldn't be fighting battles for other people that they should be fighting for themselves. So I think that's the point Chion Kuti was making.
No, but you did not answer my question. You literally say something. Yes, please don't. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I agree with what King said. Like, I mean, if the police wants a better wage, they should fight for themselves. There's no excuse for police brutality. I understand, police don't get paid. I mean, that's part of the corruption. I understand that, but that doesn't justify them killing innocent boys. So if the police wants better wage, they should go face their organs. Strike. Don't come to work. Don't carry their pops.
You're gonna face their organ at the top.
Right. Don't serve them. Don't come to work. I mean, they can't be serving their organ like slaves and then come and be attacking us. Like, we are not the cause of your demise. And we are not the cause of your problem.
Yeah.
They put you to serve us. That's your goal. Okay. If you,
Yeah, Costa.
I'm sorry.
I can't wait to see what Abdel has to say because his reactions are very funny.
So if a policeman is hungry, he should go and face his or our God, not us.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not the problem. We expect you to do your job. That's it. Like, for example, I mean, like when I go get my stuff from McDonald's, I don't care how much they get paid. I want to be served well.
It's true.
Okay, no. Let's be honest.
I think the point should be made there because it's not like we don't care how much they get paid.
No, I don't care. That's what I'm saying.
If the worker does not care how much they get paid, why should I care?
No,
So
you're right.
you guys are missing a very important point.
That goes with the message. I mean, I'm sorry to bring Showare. That goes with the message of corruption. This what Showare are fighting for. Showare are fighting for. They'll get a better wage. I mean, this is one of Showare or the movement is revolution. Like if we start putting all this change, all these policemen, we have better wage. Because what they're paying them is certain. It's like,
so if I have to say
the slavery.
If I have to be honest with you, I don't necessarily agree with some of the points you make. And first of all, you guys did not address what I was bringing up about Femi Kuti. You guys went on a tangent.
Chion Kuti, but go ahead.
Oh, what did you say, Sheon Kuti? Sorry, for some reason I keep saying Femi.
Oh, Nigeria say, but continue.
No, be your friend. Here we go, my fella. What did be your wala? But anyway, no. My point. What I brought up was he said that there is no police. Well, that Nigerians have already ended police brutality. That was his point.
But that was a figure of speech, though. I don't think it really. I mean, that wasn't like a serious statement. I mean, his point was his like after his main point was our demand needs to be stronger. Our demand needs to be stronger. I mean, he said police brutality has ended. It was just like a figure of speech that we need to do more. We need to do more instead of settling for like a mediocre proposal. We need to do more. But I don't really think he was really saying that police brutality has ended and then let's all go home.
To piggyback off of where Idiakosa finished, I would say, the full point Sheon Kuti was making was that it was saying police brutality has ended because now with the way how so many people are moved and how much attention has been brought and how much people they are now woke per se or aware that okay, these people cannot keep on killing us like that. It will be very difficult to see Nigerians again see maybe a police officer mistreating one individual, and like he described with his with what happens to his father and his grandmother, how his father was being beaten and his mother was thrown out a window and everyone was being beaten, or all his father's wives, and his house was being ransacked. He's saying that back then, he said his father claimed that 60,000 people, Nigerians, were just standing watching, and is that that mentality of, or there's that saying that if you don't fight for other people, no one will be there to fight for you when it's your turn. So same thing of where you see people being oppressed and you just stand and you watch versus getting involved and preventing that oppression. So I think what he's saying now is that at this point there's been enough gingering that if a police officer takes it upon himself to start manhandling, or a soldier starts manhandling someone in the community, that people will get involved and say, not just stand back. They're now woken up and will say, "Why are you hitting that man? Or why are you treating that young guy that way?" All they do was that, "Oh, no, that's his car. Yes, he lives in this neighborhood. What do you mean that he stole this car? Or what do you mean he's a Yahoo boy?" So I think that's what he's trying to say. That as far as he is concerned, that people are now more awake and they're not going to tolerate, impunity or injustice or jungle justice from the police officers.
But so so on that point we all on the same page. So fine, that's what he was trying to say. I did not think it like that. But you guys see that's what he was
How
trying
did
to
you
say.
take it? Go ahead and you asking us questions. We've given you our opinions,
And
and now
I
you're taking it that way. Go ahead and speak your mind. How did you take it?
the way I took it was different. I took it as he believes that Nigerian at this point will beat up police officers if the police officer ever tried to do anything in the to another person, to another Nigerian.
I won't be the one to promote violence, but
Yes, that is how I took it. That's how I took it. Okay. So but again, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So I agree with you that
we can talk about whether that is right or wrong. I
no,
mean,
no, 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 no.
two wrongs don't make it right. But if a police officer starts beating up somebody, which and no one should be beaten anyway, especially if you're surrendering or you're saying asking questions, no one should be beaten anyway.
That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't go down that road because I had to respond to some of the things you guys were talking about. So you guys were talking about. He also mentioned the fact that we shouldn't really be talking about the pay for police officer in NSARS or whatever we want. So I think that is not a true statement. One of the root causes for some of the issues, especially when it comes to
What do you mean it's not a true statement? He made the statement. You
I
don't agree
mean,
with the statement.
no. So I'm saying for us to reach our goal, not caring about how much police are being paid is not necessarily the best way to get there. Is what I'm trying to say. If our goal is to reform the police, to make sure that the police officers are not doing illegal activities or not doing things that will be harming the community, we have to make it so that they also are well compensated for the work. Being a police officer is not a joke. It's not an easy thing. It's very difficult work.
True.
And if people are putting their life on the line to make sure that our communities are safe,
Yes.
I think it's important for us to also fight for them. Because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure not all of those people, not all those police officers are bad.
Idi Akosa, what are your thoughts on what Abdul just said?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, I mean, we do care about how much you're paying them. Like, we want them like to have a better wage, but it's not our position. It's not. I mean that's not what the protest should be about. I mean, like I said, if the people running the government were smart, they would try to correlate that. What the reason why these people keep asking young boys for money, maybe they're not well paid, and then they'll look within themselves and say, okay, one of the reforms should be let's increase the wages of the policemen. So we're not going to waste our efforts and time on asking for a
And
raise.
our lives, and our lives.
That should be what that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that the government probably don't, and maybe they don't know what they are doing. Because if someone in that government, they was okay, why all this is going on? Why are police always asking for bribery? I mean, I went to Nigeria, police stop me, I just ask for money. They just stop you. Is daily, is common. All you go to Nigeria, police just they're always on the street. Police are on the road, stopping cars, asking for money. It's like a daily routine. And this happens all the time. So
True.
the government should know that we are underpaying these guys. That's why they're asking for money. So, they might use this opportunity to say, you know what, instead of them changing the name to SWAS, they might say, you know what, one of you guys' demands or one of the reforms should be, you know what, let's increase the wages of the policemen. And people will welcome it. No one will be against it. We're just not going to do it for you. Everyone will be happy that the policemen are getting better wage. That's a good thing. Everyone support that. But
Yeah.
that's not for us to do. We're not going to do that.
And I think that,
What we are doing is, making sure that young men don't get killed. Right?
I think to add on to what Idiakosa is saying is that it's not like we do not care about the wages. We care about the wages of policemen, but we also care about the wages the um average government worker. We care about the stipends or stipends, however you want to pronounce it, of Nigerian Youth Service Corps members. We care about their wages as well. We care about about so many different issues. So I think the point is also that we can't get into too many different issues right now, especially when there have been calls, for instance, for the labor unions to get involved in these protests. So right now we cannot be fighting for the minimum wages of labor unions when they have refused to put their support or weight behind this protest. Also, in the same way, I don't think we should be what the point. I won't say necessarily my position, but I kind of align and agree or see some reason to what he said, is that we cannot be fighting for the wages of police officers when those police officers are still out there killing people, which is what we are fighting against. We are fighting against them killing us unjustly. Call them a few bad eggs, whatever. They are few bad eggs of killing us. So why are we fighting for their wages when those police officers are they standing with us against the government and saying, hey, you know what, it's true, the reason we are killing these people is because we're not getting paid well enough.
That is not hold on. Killing someone, that can never be an excuse. Not getting paid enough should be never be an excuse for killing someone. So they cannot.
Why is it being added to the demands of the protest?
No, but hold on. The root of the issue is corruption. One of the reasons why we have corruption is because those police officers, or in general, the people in the lower ranges of government in Nigeria, are not getting well compensated for their effort. So yes, and in this not an excuse, but it leads to people believing that the best way to survive or make or take care of the family of 3, 4, 5 is by finding other way for money.
That is another issue. Why are someone going to be having? I'm not the one to tell people to plan their family, but that's another issue too. If you go out there and have 5 children, if you go out there and have 5 children, you cannot fight for your wages. If you go out there and have 5 children, and you cannot fight for your wages, and then you want us to still be fighting for that wage for you.
Yeah, you can speak, please.
Yeah. Another I want to say is, I think the Nigerian police or Nigerian government need to have data, statistics, like studies, and like, wait, question: can you guys like have data of like the, let's say, of like all these incident that's going on? Do we have like data to like document it? Okay, for a year, how many shooting were there? how many people were killed. Do
Yeah,
we have
because
that data in Nigeria? Huh?
we don't get lights. Make I know down. I don't want to
No,
downgrade.
but my point is, my
My
point is, I think that should be one of the
dude,
reforms.
how
Wait,
many
let me
computers?
finish.
Are there any
Brother,
computers? Are
let
there
me.
working computers? Are there working computers at each Nigerian
Huh?
police station? I
No,
said,
I'm
are there working computers at each Nigerian police station?
no wait, wait. But I'm saying that
You laugh.
almost, almost.
This is wrong.
Wait,
I
no,
don't.
let me finish. Now I'm saying that part of the reform should be like need to have statistics, data of all these incidents, so they could do a proper investigation. Because if they have statistics, data, how can you make changes? You know, every year you have to run data, statistics. Okay, how many were bad, how many were good. So we can't quantify few eggs, bad eggs, or whatever, because we don't have substantial data that tells us, okay,
You
how
can't
often.
quantify them. You smell like when an egg is spoiled in my fridge. I just smell it. I lick and smell it, and it smells bad. I know it. That's how I quantify it out.
No, 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 no.
My
So
point is, I mean,
hold on,
moving
hold on.
forward,
Okay,
I'm
guys,
done.
we're at 30 minutes, so we have to round up soon.
Say
Yeah,
one of my solutions, or what I would like to see the government do, is involve in data, statistics, investigation, so that once you have all those things, you could make informed decision. Your companies, like companies you work, like hospital, before you make a decision, you need data, analysis, statistics before you can make a sound judgment,
yeah.
right? So
Well, I think, I think also what we have to recognize is that we have to recognize that the overall situation that we find ourselves in as Nigerians and as our country, we are way behind the world right now. We are making advancements in entertainment, in even in tech, or even people in diaspora making advancements. You heard great stories of people in Nigeria, getting awards or getting recognized on an international scale. You have people like Okonjo Iweala, and she's running right now to become the CEO, or I think the president of the World Trade Organization. So we do
Yeah.
have advances, but we have to recognize our country as a whole, the kind of infrastructural deficit we have, just electricity, roads, transportation. There's so many things that are still underdeveloped, and that could be a conversation for another day. And I think that's what we're still need to work up to. But things like data, that's going to take not going to take funding. With COVID right now in the whole world, we're so behind with funding. Even the prices of oil has dropped significantly than what it used to be. So and I think that's why the end SARS. I think that's why end SARS has progressed into other issues, because people have realized just ending the name SARS or ending the unit SARS is not the problem. The problem for the police probably starts all the way from how the police are being trained and which conditions they're being trained and who they're being trained by and what the training actually is.
Can I say something? And
Yeah,
that is where can
those
I?
things,
I'll mute
actual
Jackie.
training, we need data, how we train. So you have to review your training record. I mean, all those things are important. I mean, I'll decide. I understand Nigeria lack a lot of things, but I think by now, we should expect them to do better. We should expect them to have Nigeria.
Some people are trolling your president. Some people are trolling your president. They said they want to see good roads and electricity like it is in Saudi Arabia.
Hold on, hold on. No, to go to what?
Nigeria have the resources to do great things, and just asking for data statistics
You are
is
right.
not
And we don't
is
need.
not too much
We
to
don't
ask
need
for, because
we
that's how
all
you create systematic changes. I mean, that's how you build. All these things are important, like to know who are the bad eggs, who are the few eggs or many eggs, or not at all. You need data analysis.
The
With that,
rotten eggs, the
without
fried eggs,
that,
the scrambled eggs.
hold
You
on,
need
hold
without
on.
that,
Anyway, guys,
without
hold on.
that, I don't know. I mean, but anyways, but
No, no,
I
I
think
agree with you, Jackie. Honestly, I agree with
I
you.
think
So we
Nigeria
don't-
should invest in that, because how can you investigation, proper investigation, all these things we need to do. We're a great country. It's just that people are lazy, or people, like I said, maybe the government is
Don't
just
say
not
lazy.
smart enough.
Don't use that word lazy right now. But so what I'm saying, I agree with you, Jackie. What I'm saying, I don't. We don't need a lot of computers, a lot of things to do to collect data. Excel sheet is good enough. to collect data, and that can be done if we put our minds to it. So I don't think
A computer for Excel sheet now. What are you talking about?
you don't need a 2000 you don't need a brand new computer from
By
2020.
the time they release, by the time they budget computers for the police into the budget, you just see how people are buying 2005 computer for $1,000 each. That's where money. That's where
Yeah,
money.
well, that's bad management, and those are the things we're gonna have to discuss another time. But
Okay.
hold it, to move on to the next part. There was a protest in Washington D.C. today, for NSARS. Do you know if there is protest anywhere else?
Well, I noticed there was protest. I think yesterday in Ontario and Calgary, in Canada. There's a protest, and there's two protests going on in London. There's a protest in Chicago last week. There's protests. You have protests in Abuja. Yeah, I think people
I
there are
mean,
protests.
I was talking about outside of Nigeria because I know there was one in. Where are
Yeah,
we going?
I think the one in London continues. There's one in Canada. There was one in Chicago.
There was one, and you didn't go.
I was at work.
We need to make sure that we go one. We go.
Notice, but I heard some people are planning another one.
Well,
They're trying to get one on the ground. It was a weekday. It was a weekday, and I saw it the day before.
we have to go to one of the new ones. I don't know if there's any in Florida. I haven't heard of any in Florida. And
Yeah.
maybe I'll go to that one.
Now you be the online protester. You play a significant role too, though.
Come on, leave me alone. So, anyways, this should be it. So we finally talked about NSAS today. Thank you so much for watching. King,
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
no, King is speaking to say goodbye to everyone. I'm listening.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining again. Like I said, everyone, thank you for watching this channel. Like I said, some young. We like to think of ourselves as millennials and young, and we're also professionals in our respective fields. And we just want to have a platform to share out our concerns and not just be screaming at each other on WhatsApp or in our group chat. And if you would like to be on the show, please let us know. You could drop a comment in the section below. And if you like our content, hit the like button. If you
Oh,
don't, not a dislike button. I think there is actually.
hold
So
on.
if you have any constructive feedback for us on how we could do better, we're working on India Costa sound because that interrupts the video a lot. But just let us know if there's
Yeah.
any feedback, any concerns, or any topic you want us to address. Please let us know.
Yeah. Just before we go, I just want to commend the Nigerian people. I
Oh
think
yes.
I think my beef is with the government, but the Nigerian people are incredible, selfless people, and I'm very proud of this movement, this protest, and I believe in the Nigerian people. I don't believe in the government.
Uh, we believe in our.
I think if you give Nigerian people the opportunity at the right moment, they will do wonders. They will do wonders. My disappointment is just the government. Government is just very sad because we have people who are credible who could change, do incredible things, and just have a very very, I'm not sure what to use, but a very lazy, don't really care,
No.
institute government.
Adele, which side are you on? Are you on the side of the people or the side of the government?
What do you mean? I'm on the side of Nigerian. That's clear. It doesn't matter.
Nigeria.
I don't agree. I don't agree with the word of
Yeah.
like when it comes to using the word lazy. No, I don't necessarily agree. I
When our president called us lazy youths,
we don't need to. We don't need to report. So there is a huge incompetence in the leadership, and it's not just Nigeria. In most African countries, in the
uh-huh.
in the leadership, there is a huge incompetence because they don't necessarily place people based on ability to do the work, but place people based on who they know. And although it's important,
That's not. I would say that's not only African countries. Let's not demean ourselves as
no,
black
no,
people.
no, hold on. I
All
don't.
around the world.
And
That
I,
happens,
and
that
I
happens at the
finish.
place of work.
And I finish.
Go
Yes, it's important everywhere. Who you know is important, and I don't think that's a bad thing. However, if I become president tomorrow, and I know you as someone who has a huge experience in healthcare, yes, I should give you the job of healthcare, minister of health. But if I know you don't know anything about health, and I put you there, it doesn't help. I can find you other opportunity if I really need you to put. The only president that I, in my young life, that I've seen do something that's stupid outside of Nigeria, I mean outside of Africa, is Trump. Beside that, they are
Hey, when I don't they open a whole nother, we don't reach 40 minutes. When I
okay.
don't they
Okay,
open
okay.
another kind of warm.
You know what, dude?
No, yeah, I agree. It makes he
We have
makes
to,
good points.
we have to. Okay, gentlemen. Thank you for your input so far. We can discuss this on another video. We can start a video
It
if you
makes
want.
good
I don't
points.
want this video
Please,
to keep. Let's end this video right here. If you guys want to keep going,
But I would say
we can start another video. Let's end this video now. Thank everybody
I
for
agree.
watching. Catch you in the next video.
I agree. Next time we're gonna talk about cars. We're gonna talk about corruption in Africa and how to improve the thing. We don't just argue. We don't just talk about how bad. We also come up with solution and tune in to see more solution from us. And so, yes, African people in general and Nigerian people are amazing. Just like the brother too, they will do great things, and we're very proud of the African and Nigerian specifically.